I'm Keith Hardison, Director of Interpretation for Andrew Jackson's Hermitage. 1835 was a difficult year for Andrew Jackson. On January, he received a letter dated July the 4th, 1835, written on stationery from the Broward Hotel in Philadelphia. It referenced the trial of the century, that of Spanish pirates who had taken over an American ship near Cuba, and Americans were actually killed in that incident. So the author warned Jackson, if you will, of what was suspected to be his course of action in approving of the death penalty for the pirates on trial. The letter went on to threaten Jackson with death, not once, but twice. At the beginning of the letter, the writer said that he would come into the White House and slit Jackson's throat. At the end of the letter, it said he was coming to Washington City and that he would have Jackson burned at the stake. So we don't know whether the author was changing his mind or perhaps he intended to kill Jackson twice, but he ended the letter, "You know who I am." This letter was found, or rediscovered, I should say, years later. It was marked anonymous because the name that was used on the letter was the name of a famous individual in the time. And no one could believe that this individual would threaten the President of the United States. But with the name on the letter was Junius Brutus Booth, better known as the Mad Tragedian. He was a Shakespearean actor, very popular at the time. He was known for bouts of melancholy and madness, or we might say mental illness. But again, no one thought him capable of this type of threat. There's no question Junius Brutus Booth wrote the letter. But he never actually came out and admitted to writing the letter, but the evidence is ironclad that he did. He never, thankfully, tried to act on it, but he had a son. That son, whose name we all know is John Wilkes Booth, and that is the connection, that's one of the connections between Andrew Jackson and Abraham Lincoln through the Booth family. Quite an eerie and interesting story.